your host today. And today we have Jeasy Sehgal here from Graphic Monk Productions, and he's going to be talking about how to record a video of yourself naturally. Now, I am super thrilled to have Jeasy here and I'm going to let him tell you a bit more about himself because he actually has such a wide range of skill sets. I think it would be really nice to start this conversation just getting to know Jeasy a little bit better so you can see where he's coming from. So welcome, folks, to this chat. And Jeasy, I'll let you introduce yourself and a little bit about what you do before we start our conversation about video. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the live chats on the other platforms.
Fantastic, not a problem. Sehgal, good morning, Morena, everyone. My name is Jeasy Sehgal, and I am the founder and creative director at Graphic Monk Productions, amongst other businesses like Virtual Production Dojo, Training Academy. So I am a creative, like pretty much all the people here viewing this live stream, and my beginning was very humble. I simply jumped in because I really wanted to tell stories. And fast forwarding into 2022, rather than going through my entire journey, I'm an award-winning filmmaker, I'm a cinematographer, I'm a film editor, as well as a trainer, and currently involved with a lot of research with the emerging technologies of virtual production cinematography. So yeah, today is all about you and how you want to tell your story, how you want to reach to your audience. Perhaps you have a business, perhaps you're thinking of starting a business, or you're just stuck around some ideas on how to make a good video. And when I say video, I mean talk to video. So when you're talking to your audience, so like all things, I love interactivity. So we are going to make the session really interactive, and it's all about you. So no question is a silly question. Any question that you have, please bring it up, and I'll try my absolute best to answer it. If I don't have the answer straight away, what I'll do is I'll try to do a little bit of digging around through my archives, and I'll forward details to Anamari, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I love that about you, Jeasy. I mean, you are a natural educator, and I've had you on in the past, and we learned so much. And we were lucky enough to have you as a part of Digital Boost for a short while. And then, of course, you've just exploded out because you've got so many talents. You're just doing so many things, and more to come.
Perhaps I wear too many hats.
So we won't do any spoilers right now. But so I guess while we're here, we're talking about video. So let's start from the beginning. I guess we want to talk about why it's important, or, that kind of area. Maybe we can kick off with some information about that and then move into the nitty-gritty of tips and tricks.
Certainly. So there are a couple of things that I believe in today's world post COVID, all of us are inundated with marketing material online and through our emails, especially video. Video has just exploded, as you mentioned. So we've got Facebook videos, we've got LinkedIn videos, Twitter videos, we've got what's it called, TikTok videos, so there's so much, and people are just creating content. And sometimes what happens is when the audience wants to go through and focus on your message, they tend to get distracted. They tend to get lost in the noise on social media. So first and foremost, the biggest thing that I would say is don't try to sell something to someone. Right. The way marketing used to be done, say a decade back, it was about targeting your audience and targeting what you want to sell, finding a solution for a problem and trying to sell that solution to them. But that has changed now because everyone can find a solution online. I mean, just go to YouTube, it's full of how-tos, right? So why would somebody want to buy from me or you or anyone else? So first of all, don't try to sell something to somebody. Instead, be yourself, be authentic. Authenticity is extremely important today.
Mm.
If you're not authentic, people can actually pick up on it. It's like if you were to ride a horse for the first time and you were scared, the horse knows you're scared and it's going to
Yeah.
buck. All right. So the audience is like that.
Yeah.
Weird metaphor, but it works quite
It's true.
similar.
It's true. And you know that saying about like not trying to sell to somebody, I feel like there's an old quote that says, everyone wants to buy, but nobody wants to be sold to, you know? And so it's really thinking outside the box. How can I draw this person in, right? And get them into getting to know me. I feel like that's what you're saying.
Yes,
Draw
absolutely. If
them
they
through.
like you, they trust you, they're gonna want to work with you. All right. So the first and foremost thing is what you want to do is open your doors and let your audience walk in. I mean, each and every one of us have done this, and we still do it. We go to a shopping mall, we walk into a store, and the salesperson goes, "Hi there. What's the first answer we give? Just looking." Right?
Just looking there. That's right. Because we're worried they're going to sell us things. That's right. Exactly.
Precisely, and that's the same thing, but it's now become in the digital world, in video and content, right? So people want to just look, let them look. All
Yeah.
right. So be authentic, tell your story. Tell the story of what you are doing. Don't tell the story about a solution. Tell the story of what you have discovered as a solution to a problem that you may have faced.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that then
Personalize it.
connects. Yeah,
Personalize.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And it what that does is it humanizes you
Mhm.
to the audience. So they go, oh, all right, Anamari faced a similar uh, thing, and she may have started a business, and that's how she expanded. She told her stories, and my God, look at her art now, especially with your pottery and everything. So
Oh,
congratulations on that anyway. Uh,
yeah.
so that's what I would say is the first and foremost thing. And the next one is going to be the story. We all love hearing stories, personal stories. Don't be afraid of being vulnerable.
Mhm.
Okay. It is really difficult to put your heart out on the table in front of uh, people that you don't know.
Mm.
But it is extremely important, because if you have gone through ups and downs of life, chances are others are going through as well. They have the same worries, they have the same concerns around business, around marketing, around how do I survive today in this world, right? It might be a different flavor, but that is going to be the story that they're going to relate to. So
Mm.
be authentic and tell your story.
I've got a question, Jesse. Like there's this quote, like another kind of saying, it's like, or it's not a saying, but it's called the out of town expert with a briefcase. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. And it's like, you can't promote yourself, but other people can promote you. Would you
Yes.
say that, that's what testimonials do in video form? They're basically promoting you, and that's why they're effective.
Yes, absolutely. But again, with testimonials, it's a very thin line, because
Mm.
with testimonials, if it is not, again, not authentic,
Mm.
then it can seem very scripted, right? So if I was to give a testimonial around Digital Boost, because I have experienced it, I was a part of it, my testimonial would be, I'm just going to wing it on the spot, as it's a platform that enables small to medium businesses to explore beyond the comfort zone,
Yeah.
beyond the limitations of the digital realm, right?
Mm.
I managed to expand my businesses, so you can as well, right? So by doing a testimonial where I have related it back to myself,
Yeah.
that works better, right? But if I was to say Digital Boost is an amazing platform started by MBIE, and hey, it's got free courses, join now.
Yeah.
What's going to happen, right? It seems very scripted. Yes, testimonials are a great tool. Gather as many as possible, even if it's not video based from your clients.
Mhm.
If they are emails or texts or Facebook comments, make it into a little video. Put a
Yeah.
photograph of the person with their permission.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. And I also loved what you said there about the way that you tell a testimonial, the way that a testimonial should be done. So instead of them just saying, I loved, Digital Boost, it's so amazing. It's like, oh, I was, really struggling with the changes that have happened in the digital world in my business. And I discovered Digital Boost and it really helped me out. I mean, that is a really different way of putting the exact same thing out
Yeah.
there into the world, and that makes a lot of sense. That's such great insights there, Jeasy.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
one more thing that I would say, and this is something I recently learned, is irrelevant of where we live, whether it's New Zealand, Australia, States, Europe, we live in a multicultural world. So it's multi community, ethnic communities, indigenous communities, right? And lately what has happened is we all try to fit in. That's a human nature. So if I'm living in New Zealand, I was originally born in India, so what I'm going to try and do without even thinking is try and fit into the New Zealand context by saying tēnā koutou, right? But
Yeah.
is that me? Is that my authentic self? Or am I just trying to use the word so that I can please a potential audience, right? Use it, but use it authentically. And
Yeah.
don't forget your roots, right? So tell your story. So if you are from Italy or from Spain or whatever,
Yeah.
say hola.
Yeah, you can say like tēnā koutou, ciao, ciao, ciao. I think that what you're saying there is it's okay to be more than one thing as well.
Yeah, that
You
is where
don't have
people
to,
go.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of theory of words, to be honest, and my pronunciation isn't the best. So if I
Yeah.
try to use a couple words that are mispronounced, people are gonna go, okay,
Yeah.
good try, buddy.
Yeah. And I mean, there's like that fine line between, I think with language as like a former language teacher, I think we all admire when people are giving it a go. You know what I mean? And making the effort, because we do really want to make sure that language survives and that we have respect and for cultures. And I think that that's really important. And being comfortable, say things that you're comfortable with. Make sure you feel comfortable with it, because then it will come from an authentic space, and there's no reason why you have to discard your own culture as well, because there's other people out there that are also have immigrated here or are here that are your customers that will just appreciate the fact that, they can relate to you as well. And so it just adds actually more layers to that onion of who you are and what your business who your business represents. And we are, especially, New Zealand is so multicultural. It's so beautiful. Having just gone overseas and coming back, it's so lovely to be back in Aotearoa, where it's, just so many different cultures here. Everybody just is so kind. It's just a very safe, lovely place to be, and supporting each other is what we do really well. And you can do that by using some te reo that you feel comfortable with, and then also using your language, which is lovely. Yeah.
Fantastic. Right.
Now,
so moving on.
What are we going to move on to now, Jeasy?
Right.
So much to chat about.
The next thing is try and always speak to the camera, but don't look directly into the camera frame. All right. And that is something that a lot of professionals also do wrong at times, right? What we call in the media business, breaking the fourth wall. So what that means is right now, I'm looking at my screen, I'm looking at your face on the video on the Zoom, right? So you can see my eye line is not looking straight down the camera. But if I was to look straight down the barrel of the camera, this is what's going to happen. It's going to make the audience uneasy, right? So it's a 15-degree offset from the lens of the camera, right? So if you're sitting straight or standing and the camera is in front of you, so there's a straight line between your eyesight and the camera lens. The easiest way is simply go 10 to 15 degrees left or right with
How's
the
that?
camera.
Does this look good? Am I doing it? Yeah. Okay.
All right. So what that does is it adds that little bit of layer of error that the human brain relates to as being natural. If something is perfect, the brain snaps out from the
Hey,
entertainment factor, right? So, or call it the uncanny valley or whatever you want to. So people go, oh, okay, I don't know, you're looking straight at me. I don't like that
yeah,
confrontation happening, right? So
yeah,
you don't want to talk straight into someone's face, kind of thing. Like, whoa, get out of my face.
yeah. Do you
So
feel
that's
like that camera angle changes depending on the content of the video? Like if you were, depending on what you were doing with the video, or do you think that's just everything?
um that's actually a very good question. Some people might be making videos where they are showcasing what they do. For
Mhm.
example, with your artwork, you might be doing a promotional video where you're actually showing yourself working in your studio.
Mhm.
You might have clay on your hands or
Mhm.
something. So in a context like that, if we use that as an example, easiest way would be that the video starts with you doing something.
Mhm.
So you are not actually looking at the camera, right? So the
Mhm.
audience is literally walking into your studio, into your space, into your personal environment, and you're doing something, and then you go, "Oh, hi, my name's
Yeah,
Anamari," and
yeah,
then you go from there. And
yeah,
so, so that is a ease in method. The other method is if I was doing a talk to camera promotion. So I'm seated, right? So if I start the camera and go, hi, my name is Jeasy Sehgal, and I'm so and so and so, it's going to be very robotic, right?
yeah.
But if I was sitting here and go, before the camera starts, have a sip of coffee and go, hi there, my name is Jeasy Sehgal, and today we are going to talk about some
So there's
videoing, right?
that bit of eye contact there, and then there's a break from it. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I guess that's so true. We don't really stare into somebody's eyes, the whole time. We will look away and then we'll look back because that's thinking. Yeah,
absolutely.
are you thinking?
Yeah, and you may have noticed already, I am really animated. I talk with my hands,
Oh,
right? I'm a creative.
mhm.
So what that does is if I'm thinking something, I tend to look around, I take a breath. If I need to clear my throat, these are the small nuances that
Mm,
add a lot of value to your video, right?
mhm.
To your message, rather, if I want to put it that way. So don't be afraid that it's not 100% perfect and you need to cut in between in the video to edit it, right? So you're always sitting straight. Don't be worried about that. If you're working out of a home environment, a lot of people are doing that now.
Yeah,
If you've got a dog that's running in the background, don't worry about it. Turn around and go, well, there goes my lab. You know,
yeah.
people love that kind of thing now,
Yeah,
right? Gone are those days when you were sitting in a studio and you were literally stapled to the chair. So feel free to move around and have a breath.
yeah,
That's one thing that is going to add to the authenticity, to the human factor of who you are, and what your story is. Why do I want to give you 3 minutes of my time?
yeah.
30 to 40 seconds is when the video begins. The audience is going to decide whether they want to continue or not. So if
Mhm.
you look through the YouTube and Vimeo stats of videos, you're going to notice most videos are skipped after the 40-second mark.
Mhm.
People simply go to the next video on the sidebar or whatever, right?
It's like my quality control. But if I don't think you know what you're talking about within like 30 to 40 seconds, I'm done.
Yeah. In that 30
Sometimes
to
it's
40
faster than
seconds,
that.
you want to tell what we are doing, right?
Yeah.
So what's this video about? What are you going to get out of it? And what are we going to cover? That needs to be in the first part, right?
Mm.
So once that is covered, then people are going to go, okay, hey, I enjoy this. I want to find out more. I personally, for me, I have no idea about TikTok. As much
Yeah.
as I'm into video, I am still not on that platform, right? So if
Look,
I
we
was
had a young Gen Z or something on last week for our workshop that taught everybody how to make a TikTok. So, that was pretty cool because I also am I'm a TikTok novice. I'm going to say, it's a platform I just, I dabble in, but I haven't TikToked, and I missed that session last week. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch it so I can get on the
right,
ball.
I'm going to make a note of that myself.
Yeah, you'll have to watch that one, Jeasy. But that's it, isn't it? It's there's different formats for different platforms. So this
Yeah.
kind of videos is might be different from a TikTok video, but I still think that all of these things cross, cross
Absolutely.
platforms.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other thing, next thing that I would like to mention is the format of the video. So
Okay.
with all this multiple platforms where we can stream now, you've got the landscape mode, you've got the portrait mode. I think Instagram is a square 4:3 mode, so it's like, what mode am I going to record in? Rule of thumb, always record in landscape.
Oh, really? Why is
All right.
that?
Reason being is when you're recording in landscape, you're getting extra field of view, right?
Okay.
And it is because right now what's happening is with my video, I'm kind of in the center. So if this was a video I was making for TikTok as well as Instagram and YouTube or Facebook, I have done it. I do the recording in 1920 by 1080 as a HD. No idea going for a 4K. All right. There is no commercial display TV monitor that is available right now that is 4K unless you want to spend over $20,000, right? So make it HD video in landscape, and for TikTok or Instagram, then you can crop it around the subject. Right?
Yeah. That's exactly right. You can edit it, and it's good to have different I mean, I guess certain things. Yeah, it's just a good point there on having a good standard practice on what you can do. I know that whenever I do, I recently did a thing for a metaverse project that we're doing at Tech Futures Lab. It's a gather town where people can virtually come in, and we did that in landscape, and it just enabled him to alter the background behind me so he could make it whatever he wants. But if I do it in portrait, it's just like it doesn't fit with
Kind of
a lot of
squeezed
what they
into
want to
the frame.
do. Yeah, exactly
And the
right.
other thing is, if during the video, if you have enough space and you tend to move, right? Then what happens is you're starting to get out of the frame, so these days you have cameras that have the follow system in it as well, the DJI Osmo gimbals you can buy, connect your phone to it or your camera to it, and it'll follow you as you are moving around. But then what happens is, the other thing is, if you've done your video in landscape mode, you can do a very nice dolly zoom in post-production or editing, right?
Yeah.
So if you wanted to
Nice.
make an emphasis, right? So you can do a slight camera zoom in post-production. Don't have to have a camera person. So all those things, those editing features that we are used to from movies and storytelling, you can actually start using it. But if you've done it, like you said, in portrait mode, then you're kind of limited, right? So that's what I would strongly suggest. Next one is framing.
Okay.
That is very, very, very important thing. I strongly suggest everyone to learn how to frame a proper shot. All right. And I've got a little homework for everyone. Give me one moment. I'm just going to pull up a link.
Cool.
I'll
And
just
while
put
you
it
do
in.
that, we've got a couple of questions as well.
Sure.
And so we can cover those off. But do you want to get that link, or are you
Yes,
multitasking?
if you want to bring that link up,
I'll grab
Anamari.
it. Okay.
And I've
Do you want me to put it? Do you want me to share screen or?
yes, please. If or I could actually.
Yeah, maybe you want to, and I'll drop it into the chat to everyone so they have it. So that's the link there. Yeah, you should be able to share. I'm not sure if you can. I can.
Yes, I think I should be able to. Please
I don't know
let
how
me
many
know.
screens you've got going. Yeah, there you go. We've
All
dropped this
right.
link into the chat for everyone there, and I'll actually just go ahead and drop it into the other chats for you folks on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. Just dropping it in there for you guys. One sec. Okay. Coming back. Here I am. All right. So
Right.
this so tell us a little bit about this link, Studio Binder.
Yeah, so Studio Binder is an amazing website for anyone to start learning about video making, right? And it's got amazing tips and tricks and templates and whatnot. So feel free to go through this website. Even when I'm training people, I tend to use this as a lot of my resources, right? So don't try to reinvent the wheel. Great little video here, how to do a short list. All right, so make a short list of what you're going to say, what you're going to do. You don't have to be an absolute amazing cartoonist. You can do a little stickman figure, but have a short list of the idea of what the video is going to be about, right? But what we are going to look at is this over here. I don't know if it's...
Yeah, if you want to, yeah, that's great. That looks good to me.
So,
Let us know, folks, if that's not big enough for you. But it looks, I mean, it's pretty much full screen. I might even change the view so that we get rid of ourselves and just, oh, we are on that. Okay. We should be
okay.
good.
So this is something I recommend each and every one to learn by heart. All right, framing a proper shot. Because I see so many videos online, the content is amazing, but the framing is completely off. And as a film editor, my OCD plays up and I go, whoa, okay, no. And then they do this choppy cuts and, one moment you're looking on this side, next moment you're looking there. Like, God, don't do that. Just don't. Right. So this little diagram shows all the framing of the shot whenever you're doing a video, irrelevant of whether it's for TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or whatever method you're using. A full shot is exactly what it says. It's the complete person standing or sitting. All right. Always make sure there is breathing space above the head and there's breathing space to the side. With the TikTok format, if you were doing a talk to video, then the frames are going to come really close to your shoulders and it's going to be like you're almost sitting squeezed in a box. That's the reason you want to do a landscape mode, right? Medium shot, the MFS shot here, what that is slightly below the knees. So the things to remember is don't cut the frame on joints, because then it's like the person has lost an arm or a leg. Always go below the joint. All right. So just remember that.
That makes sense. This is a really good photography kind of thing as well, of where
Absolutely.
to. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Medium shot is the most common one. So usually if your camera was slightly further away, but not so far that it was a full shot, you want to keep it just below the navel.
Yeah.
All right. So don't put it on your tummy, the framing, the bottom end of the frame, but instead just below the navel. And that's what the medium shot is. So right now with you, Anamari, and my camera framing, what we're looking at is a medium close-up shot. So how do we do a medium close-up, right? So what you do is you take your arm and you make it into a 90-degree angle or L shape, and you put it around your chest as if you were wearing a cast. All right. So it falls just below your chest line, and that is what is called a medium close-up shot. All right. So that shot, what the medium close-up shot does is it allows for enough personal space with your audience, but it's not so close as a close-up shot is, where
where we're like this,
supposed to come in like that. That's close, right? I'm starting to get into the audience's face, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But if I was here and the camera gently zoomed in,
Yeah.
that's
It's,
all right,
yeah.
right? But if I was already framed from my neck
Yeah.
onwards, it's like, well, okay,
Yeah. That's
that's a
close.
little too
Yeah.
close, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the three shots that everyone needs to learn is how to set up a medium close-up.
Mhm.
So just below the chest line, make a L with your arm. Next is a medium shot just below the navel and a full shot.
Mhm.
Those three shots, if you can frame those three shots without thinking about it, you're
Yeah.
already an expert with video. That's
Oh,
what
awesome.
all right. So that's extremely important to for everyone doing video, irrelevant of whatever the method, reason or content is.
It makes a lot of sense though, because it does feel very comfortable as a viewer when I can see that amount. Like if somebody comes on and I can only see this, it's really bizarre when, or the, angle is really low and going up into their face. It's really intense. We actually
Absolutely.
have a couple of questions about editing and about what to use. So one question here says, where do you do editing? So where do you do editing? And maybe you have an option for us that a small business could use, or a beginner that might even be free. You might even know something like that, I'm sure, because we always
All
love a
right.
free option, don't we? Here
I
on
love questions like this because this allows me to be the devil's advocate.
Okay.
All right. First and foremost, any one of you paying monthly subscription for Adobe Premiere,
Yeah.
get rid of it.
Okay. Okay.
Adobe
Compensation.
hates
Yeah.
me for saying that. All
Yeah.
right. Adobe hates me for saying that. The reason I say that is Adobe Premiere is great and it is used in the professional world a lot, but
Mhm.
there is another software which Hollywood uses,
Mhm.
which is completely 90% of the software is free for you to use and download it today.
Do you
So
feel like it's easy for a beginner to use? Like it's pretty
absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely. So give me one quick second. I'm just going to bring up the link here and I'm going to share the link with you, Anamari, for everyone as well.
Guys, we're
It's
getting the
called,
skinny right now. Yeah, we're getting the skinny. This is the inside scoop. Don't tell Adobe. But tell all
right,
your friends.
here we go.
DaVinci Resolve. Yeah, cool.
Blackmagic
Blackmagic.
DaVinci Resolve.
Okay,
All right. So I'm going to send the link through here to you,
got it.
Anamari, or sharing it with everyone. So this works on Apple, works on Windows, it works on a laptop, it works on a desktop. All right. And what it offers is for free download. What the software has is cloud sharing so that you can work with other content developers. So, maybe Anamari is doing the recording and I'm doing the editing. So we could work. We both live in different cities. So that option is there. You have a full range of collaboration tools. You have the media organization. You have a quick editing cut mode, which is great for beginners. All right.
Okay.
And it has presets for Instagram, for TikTok, for Twitter, for you just cut the video the way you want it to be, build your story out, and you can link your YouTube video account, for example, or Instagram account, for example, and just hit the button and it'll upload everything for you, right? It has a professional editing mode. If you are an editor, I personally live and breathe in the editing mode. For me, the cut mode is too easy and it makes it difficult for me to use. It's contradictory. Then it has a whole suite of Hollywood VFX modes called Fusion. Color grading, same as Hollywood uses. Fairlight for actual music and audio recording, ADR recording, sound mixing, whatever you want, and delivery in any format you can imagine. And all of that, 90% of it, apart from some pro plugins, are free to download. And you can download this today, right? That's the
Selling
reason I
it.
say
You're
Adobe
selling it,
hates me
Jesse.
to say it. And if you feel that it is something that, the pro version plugins are something you really want to use, then hey, it costs $295 or 500 New Zealand dollars.
Yeah.
And it's a
If that's
one-time.
what you're doing, that might be an investment that you're willing to put forward. If this is going to, you always have to weigh it against how much business it's going to bring in, don't you? Yeah.
Absolutely. And look, personally, I would suggest anyone on here watching this video, don't worry about going and buying the software. Get the free download. They have a bunch of tutorials that actually teaches you step by step in less than 30 minutes. And you'll be editing pretty much semi-professionally, just using the cut mode. You don't even have to go into the professional editing mode. And that is amazing tool to use. So save the money. We all are hurting post-COVID, right? Yeah. Businesses are struggling to stay above water. So save your money. The easiest way to double your money is take it out of your pocket, fold it in half, and put it back in.
I'm taking that one, Jesse. I'm keeping that one. Do you want to, we've got a second question, and it's it just says, do you need good equipment, or is an iPhone okay to use? Oh, wait, hold on. Quick question about that DaVinci. There are 4 versions. Which one do we choose?
DaVinci Resolve 18, if you download, it comes with the suite of all the features that I was showing.
Okay, so just let us know if there is any more clarity that you need there. Okay, and then so it says, do you need good equipment, or is an iPhone okay?
Look, iPhone is amazing, right? I've got an iPhone 13, and my daily use is an Android Oppo phone. Personally, I just use the iPhone for motion capture, but all my video is done on an Android phone, right? The cameras these days are amazing. So first and foremost, irrelevant of what phone you're using, don't use a BlackBerry. If you have it, dump it. On your camera phone, iPhone or Android, whatever it is, you want to go into the camera settings and you want to start the grid. You want to activate the grid.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to drop that into the chat just in case anyone missed that. So you go into, this is on iPhone though only?
iPhone as well as Android.
Okay. Phone settings. Is that, where would you find that in the settings?
So in iPhone, usually you go into settings under camera, and there's a slider button that says grid. On Android, again, depending on Samsung, Oppo, Nokia, whatever you're using, usually it is in the camera settings itself. And what you want to do is, in the video mode, you want to remove the stamp, the stamp at the bottom, and you want to make sure it is at the highest resolution that your phone camera can do, right? So you want to, most cameras will allow you a 1920 by 1080, and that's what you require. So you start the grid. So basically you get the grid, and I'm just trying to bring up a rule of thirds. So if we have a look.
Now I'm going to have a look in my settings under my camera and see if I can, while you do that, I'm just going to have a look as well so that I can see what's happening, because I didn't know this. So of course I'm excited.
Cool.
Okay. So in my camera settings, I can go to composition, and then I can activate the grid.
Yes.
And then
it's going to look something like that, right?
Yeah.
So
that's cool. Oh, that's really cool. I don't see anything that says remove stamp or highest. Oh no, I can see record video. I can change my resolution to higher resolution. The highest resolution I have is 4K at 30 FPS. Would that be what I have an old phone. I don't have as new a phone as you, Jesse.
What phone do you have?
I've got a 7.
Okay.
I'm over here back in the 90s, apparently.
Time to upgrade.
I
run.
know, I know. I'm desperate.
Hey, like the saying goes, the best camera is the camera you have on you. All right. And
Yes.
that holds extremely, extremely true. So let's come back to the frames per second. That is another important thing. Thanks for bringing that up. Let's talk about the grid for a moment here. So when you activate the grid, you're going to see something similar to what my screen is showing over here. Let me go full screen. So why is this important? If say for example, I was sitting straight in the middle, and if you can imagine this grid, which is on the screen, laid out on my video, I would be straight in the center of the square with my head just bobbing above, right? And
Yeah.
my shoulders coming down. Now, what that does is that makes me very robotic. I'm sitting straight, bang, right? So if this was a military recruitment, army recruitment video, I would do that. I would be going, I want you to join the army, right?
Okay.
That's great. But usually the brain likes things that are relaxed. And how does the brain compute that? That is computed by these intersection points on the inner square, the 4 intersection points, right? So in this photograph here, what we are looking at is this beautiful dog looking out into the vista. So the compensation places the dog's head on the top right-hand square, right? And what that does is it has a flow-on effect. So we know that the dog's nose is right there, and our eye follows the movement of the body. And if you look at this photograph, in nature, everything works on geometry, right? So this dog was not posed this way. Chances are the dog ran, stood there, sniffing the wind, and the person took the shot. But naturally, the nose is pointing to look in that direction. You follow the body line, the tail curls down, and then our eye comes into the vista, right? So you have the subject in the foreground, and then you have the background, right? And there's a beautiful depth of field happening here. Depth of field is where the background is faded away, right? So if your camera supports that, try and get it. If not, you can try and do it in post-production. But if you can't do it, don't worry about it, right?
Yeah. So there was a couple of questions about that. So one said, what's the stamp? Because we talked about the stamp, like remove the
Stamp
stamp.
is usually most mobile cameras usually put the date and the time and so forth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the timestamp. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Got that.
so it gets burnt into your video. You don't want that. So
Okay.
usually it's at the bottom, the file name and what the date was or the location was or something like that.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
want a clean video feed without any kind of noise in it, right?
Okay.
So
And a
that's
question
what
about, we've got two questions about the Resolve 18. So it's either, you can either pick Resolve 18 beta or Resolve Studio 18 beta.
yeah. So the studio is obviously the paid version.
Oh, okay. So just use the
Yes.
beta, the other one, not the
Yeah. So
studio.
Studio 8, sorry, DaVinci 18 is the latest release that came out last month. So they are constantly upgrading. So it is currently is saying it's beta mode, but it doesn't matter, right? So just download the free one and you'll be good to go.
Okay,
All
we're
right.
good there. And then I think this rule of thirds, Jesse, actually ties into this other question that we have here. And so I want to address that now, if you don't mind.
Yep.
She said, so that I don't know if it's a she actually, they said, if I have a script specific things, a script or specific things I need to say, e.g., if I'm teaching something in a video, how do I look more natural and not like I'm reading off a piece of paper? Now, this is a hard one because I have done quite a lot of scripts for Digital Boost and other things, and it is really difficult to make it look like you're not reading off a piece of paper if you need to read, right? What are your tips on that? Because that's a tricky one, I think.
Okay, so get a teleprompter. All right. What is a teleprompter? That is something that usually in the studios, if you've ever visited a professional studio, you will notice there's a camera and then there is an inverted mirror that has the words going up and down for people to read, right? And sometimes people are going, what? Somebody put a spelling mistake. So get a teleprompter. It is amazing. And there are a lot of free versions out there. The one that I strongly recommend is, again, I'm putting it in the chat for Anamari to share with all of you.
Okay.
It is called Imaginary Teleprompter.
Is this for like an iPad or something?
It is available on, let's have a look.
I need this.
So it's available on Windows, on Mac OS, Ubuntu, Linux, so you can use it pretty much everywhere. And guess what? It's free.
So you can put, so this basically, it will scroll on your computer while you're recording.
Absolutely.
I should have I need to save this. This is a lifesaver for me because otherwise I'm memorizing things,
So I mean, you can put a timer on it. You can basically copy paste what your script is. So the person who asked about doing the training videos, that is where something like this comes really handy, right? So you might have a script that you want to read, so you can copy it from Word document or Google Docs or whatever, paste it into this. It's a rich editor, and you can make it as big or small, the words, depending on how big your screen is. I have a 3-screen setup in my studio. So what I do is I put the teleprompter on one screen, and then the main screen is where I'm doing or showing something. So from the corner of my eye, I can still see the scrolling. Right? So what I don't want to do is have it on this screen where I have to literally turn. So this screen here, all I have to do is slightly swivel, and that still makes me look natural, right? So what you don't want to do is do this. You don't want to be reading the lines, right?
So, and I think that comes in with prep, doesn't it? It's like, make sure you know what you're talking about before you go to record. And I've always found that, sometimes it takes me a minute to get into it, sometimes I've got to record something a couple times before I feel like it starts to look natural and sound natural, like the pauses are natural. And, I think the best way to evaluate this, and maybe you've got some tips or you'll agree, Jeasy, is to watch it back and just see what's happening. Like really watch it as a critical viewer. Does that look natural? Oh, why did you say that word so high pitched? Or, because there is a skill to delivery when it comes to these kind of things. And you don't need to be perfect because nobody wants that, but it does need to be easy to listen to. And you want to think about your key words sometimes, like what are the real punch points? What are you trying to say, and what's super important versus what's not important, and softening in those points and enunciating in the things that are.
That's so important. You've hit the nail on the head with that, Anamari. The other thing that I would recommend everyone is practice speaking. We all speak without thinking, right? It's a natural thing that we do, same as breathing, but we need to consciously practice speaking. What do I mean by that? I don't mean to be rude towards anyone, right? There are wonderful speakers out there, but when I say practice speaking is you take a breath in, not a deep breath, a breath in, a natural breath. And as the breath comes down, that's when you speak.
I always do that. It's always an inhale and then. And then
you don't want to breathe in between your statement.
And I've got to say to those folks that are listening to this panicking right now, do not panic, because I have set up the perfect workshop for this with John Mayberry, who has done countless ads. He's done heaps of advertisements. I actually called him on the phone to set up one of the chats, and I thought it was a voice recording because his voice it's like so much what you hear on the radio, or, it totally fooled me. I went, oh wait, is that actually you? So it was really funny. He's he is a coach for professional speaking, and he does a lot of video, he does a lot of TV, and he's going to do a workshop with us coming up. I'll get the date for you guys. So come to that, because we're going to actually learn how to execute a script. So this is ties in with this, Jeasy. Oh my gosh. Perfect
Fantastic.
timing.
So that's what I would strongly suggest. So use this free teleprompter. Next thing I want to touch upon is what you brought up, is the frames per second.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So pretty much all your phones, cameras, they are set up by default factory setting for the American standard, right? And they are set up at 30 frames per second. GoPro, 30 frames per second. We live in New Zealand, where the electricity hertz is 50 hertz. Half it is 25 frames per second. So you should be filming at 24 to 25 frames per second, not at 30 frames per second.
Okay.
The reason being is at 30 frames per second, you get interlacing, right? So sometimes you might be watching Netflix or something and you see lines on the picture. But what you want to do is 24 frames per second progressive, all right? So in DaVinci Resolve, irrelevant your recording was done in 30 frames per second, maybe your equipment does not allow you to do that, change the frames per second. DaVinci Resolve allows you to set up your project at 1080, 1920 by 1080, progressive, 25 frames per second, and it will automatically conform your video.
Okay.
Right. So that's the reason, again, I strongly suggest to using DaVinci Resolve. I don't get any commission or kickbacks from them, but I use it in professional capacity, and that's what I strongly recommend. So yeah, that's what I would suggest. Next, lighting, extremely important. Use natural lighting as much as possible. All right. So nothing beats natural lighting of the sun, even if it's a cloudy, overcast day, doesn't matter, right? These days you can go into the warehouse for literally warehouse stationery, $15. I was there yesterday, I saw it, $15. You can buy the LED ring light.
Oh, what? That's a bargain.
with the tripod,
really,
and everything, right?
Now,
get out there today and buy it.
You're selling today. Now, Jeasy, Lee's question here is, but what if your videos are being watched by Americans? Do you still use the 24? Or
Americans, they would be using 30 frames per second, right? Yeah. Reason being is their power grid works on 60 hertz. So it's a half of it. I'm not going to go into the technicality of that, but just remember, whatever your kilohertz for your power is, usually half it, that's the frame rate you're going to be working in. Canada and America work on 30 frames per second. Okay. Remainder of the world works on 24 or 25 frames per second, right? If you are doing a slow motion, try to do it at 125 frames per second and then slow it down. Don't do a slow motion at 30 or 25 frames per second. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And if you're lost right now, don't freak out.
So yeah, that's what I would strongly suggest. Coming back to the lighting, use natural light as much as possible. Get the LED light, and don't put the LED light in front of you. A lot of YouTube videos, people talking, they have beautiful studio space, and they're wearing glasses or not wearing glasses, but you can see the ring light in their eyes.
That's right.
You don't want that. You don't want that. It's the same as in older days. Perhaps I'm showing my age by saying that we would get the red eye in whenever we took the photograph.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same thing. It's distracting. You're going, whoa, what do you have in your eye? Oh, look, I can see the ring, right? So you don't want that. Again, put it 15 degrees offset, right? Yeah. And you want a backlight so that you are kind of standing away from your background, right? So this is called a 3-point lighting. Google it, go on YouTube. It's easy as, you don't have to be a lighting expert. 3-point lighting, there's a key light that lights your subject or your face. Then you have a fill light, which adds to the shadow areas, and then you have a backlight.
Yeah.
Stick with that. You'll be making amazing videos. Your lighting is going to look amazing.
Yes, I think lighting's super important. I have a ring light, obviously, because sometimes it's cloudy and sometimes I don't have enough natural light coming through my window in order to make the video easy to watch, and yeah, like it just allows people to see your face, and they like, being able to see those kind of details because then they connect with you. Yeah.
Yes.
So Lee clarified the statement earlier about the Americans just saying, sorry, I meant by both NZ and Americans, which is best to film at. So I guess, would it depend on where you're putting it? Because really, if you're putting it on a platform that's shared by everybody, it would probably be okay, right? Because
So think of it this way. 24 frames per second is where the human brain sees animation or movement, right? So think about a flip book. Again, showing my age. The flip books that, if you were flipping it one by one or moving the page, you don't see a movement of the animation. But if you were flipping it quick, then you see the animation of whatever was drawn on it. So 24 frames per second is the absolute basic of movement. So if you stick with 25 frames, that is what is used in the media industry. If you were making the video for the American audience, they would be watching it in 30 frames per second. So 25 is less than 30, so they can still watch it very clearly, right? Okay. So I think that, I don't know if
that clarifies it.
Yeah,
to be on the safe side, you would do it at the 25 versus the 30 because it's going to transfer to both instead of just it's like a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square.
Oh, what?
We're full of them today, Jeasy. We're full of these analogies today. It doesn't strobe even for that's correct. That's correct. The 24 FPS is the best because it doesn't strobe for them. It works for both of them.
Strobing, perfect. Thank you for the word. That's what I was looking for, not lines. Strobing.
Now, I will just double check. We haven't missed any questions on the platform because we've hit time. Did we get to everything, Jeasy? I mean, you have such a wealth of knowledge. It's hard to fit it all in. Honestly.
Just one last thing is about content.
Okay.
And I think that is something that a lot of people get wrong. Not talking content as in what I'm trying to show or talk about, but content as in, is the content meaty enough for your audience to sink their time and teeth into? All right. It doesn't have to be a lengthy video. It doesn't have to be professionally edited. It can be a bit amateur. It doesn't matter. The content has to be such that people can relate to, right? It has to be something that they may have been facing themselves in their lives, right? So your job as a marketer, as a business owner, is to put yourself as your customer, as your audience. Would you buy from yourself? Would you actually buy the story that you're selling? Same thing what you mentioned, Anamari. It's very important that we can relate to ourselves. We can tell a million stories to the world, but if we were standing in front of the mirror, like Michael Jackson said, you can't lie to the man in the mirror, right?
No.
That's the way you want to be making content, right? So don't be afraid if you were telling a heartfelt story and a tear came in your eye. It's all right. Pick up a tissue, wipe it off. Those things add the spice to the content.
Yeah.
Right. So don't be scripted.
We've got a question about length of video. So it says, I've heard that video length either needs to be less than 2 minutes or approximately 20 minutes. Is that right?
So it depends again in what platform you're putting on. I know Instagram does not allow very long videos. I'm not sure what TikTok limitations are. Usually
they keep changing,
you want
to be honest.
Think about a movie trailer. Usually it's between 30 seconds to a minute, right?
Mhm.
It's a teaser. So you want to try and give as much information and always have a call to action at the end. Call to action is not buy now, limited spaces. Nobody
Yeah.
buys that. Don't
Yeah.
say if you sign up today, we'll give you a toaster free. Don't do
Yeah.
all those gimmicks. But instead have a call to action and hey, feel free to reach out to us. Our friendly team is standing by to answer any questions you have, something
Yeah.
like that. So try and make it within that 20 seconds to a minute as a teaser. But if, for example, the other person had asked a question about training videos, teaching, don't make it anything longer than 3 minutes because of the attention span, and try and cover 3 items at the most. Today,
Yeah.
we have covered more than 3 items, and
Yeah.
chances are 80% of the audience would have already phased out,
Yeah.
because the human brain phases out. They go, whoa, information overload, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why it's so good we've recorded this, because I know you guys are going to go back and watch it.
Yeah, I've broken all the rules, guys.
I know there's so much good content in this. I hope you guys clicked on those links throughout the session. They're all in the chat. There was Adele had raised their hand, and if you could drop a question in the chat, we're actually over time. So I can take that question and pull it out, and we can get it answered to you, get an answer to you if you need it. Sometimes people just accidentally click on those buttons. So, just comments here saying, seriously, one of the best sessions that we've done. I knew it, honestly, Jeasy, this session is your wheelhouse. You just excel. I love having you on. I just think I'm a big fan, that. So I'm so grateful that you've enlightened us today. You've given us so much food for thought to take home to our businesses. So I'm really excited about that.
Just practice. If you've got kids at home, or parents or friends, get friends over, and tell them, hey, look, this is the script I want to do. Can you read it out? And they'll be giggling and going, no, I can't do it. Look at them, observe them, and learn from it. Because when a person, for example, if I wanted to do a video and I said, hey, Anamari, I want to do this video, but can I record you doing it? Chances are you're going to go, I don't know your subject. No, I can't do it. And then you're going to give it a try. And if I was to record that is called a blocking record. That is what I want to learn from. Okay. So because that is where the authenticity is going to come out, right? Because you got to think about people who don't understand your subject, don't understand your product or services, right? So what you want to do is be their friend. And that is absolutely the key takeaway from this session, I would say, right? Don't worry about fancy equipment, a $500 microphone, and $35 out of warehouse stationery does an amazing job, right? Don't go wasting money. Make good content, tell stories.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeasy. Love having you on. Have a wonderful day, everyone. We will be here on Thursday for our workshop. Do sign up to that if you want to come, because it's not publicized on any of our socials. If you are watching and going, oh gosh, I need to watch this again, the recording will be sent out to you later today. So please do check it out. You can get all the tidbits again. Some hands are raising.